Are we getting closer to World War III? Well, according to North Korea, maybe. And a lot of Americans don't even know about this. Yeah, take a look at this. It's crazy. Yeah, you can see here right from the front page of Reuters, North Korea claims almost 800,000 people from North Korea have signed up to fight against the United States. That's a lot of people in the military. Here's the details on this. Yeah, North Korea claims that about 800,000 of its citizens volunteered to join or re enlist in the nation's military to fight against the United States. North Korea's newspaper reported here on Saturday. I know this is unbelievable, right? About 800,000 students and workers on Friday alone across the country expressed a desire to enlist or re-enlist in the military to counter the United States. The Roandong Cinnamon newspaper reported, quote, the soaring enthusiasm of young people to join the army is a demonstration of the unshakable will of the younger generation to mercilessly wipe out the war maniacs making last ditch efforts to eliminate our precious socialist country and achieve the great cause of national reunification without fail and a clear manifestation of their ardent patriotism. Patriotism. Boy, that is a mouthful. I bet you most of their people don't even understand what that would mean. Said the North Roandong Cinnamon said. The North's claim came after North Korea on Thursday launched its Hwasong 17 intercontinental ballistic missile (ICBM) in response to the ongoing U.S. South Korea military drills. And I'll show you what our Department of Defense said here in a second. Yeah, North Korea fired them into the sea between Korean Peninsula and Japan, hours before the South Korean president flew to Tokyo to discuss ways to counter the nuclear armed North Korea. And you could see here that North Korea continues to say that these missile launches were a warning shots and that they were intended to, quote, give a stronger warning to the enemies, intentionally escalating the tension. But here's what the U.S. Department of Defense says. Take a listen.
So North Korea reacts to the USROK's military exercise. So how such kind of security cooperation can work to deter North Korea?
Right. So I think, again, it's important to just kind of take a step back here. And the exercises that the United States conducts with Japan and with South Korea are defensive in nature and meant to bolster our interoperability and meant to deter potential aggression in the region. And so that's first and foremost. And so in terms of North Korea's reactions to these types of exercises, as you heard me say before, not only is it inappropriate, it's destabilizing and concerning, clearly, to those in the region. But I think what's important for people to understand is, one, deterrence continues to work. Despite launching missiles into the ocean, North Korea is not attacking, and nor should they. And that the United States, Japan, South Korea, and other allies and partners in the region will continue to work together to extend that deterrence and to keep our country safe. Again, with the ultimate objective here being a secure, safe, prosperous, free, and open Indo-Pacific region.
Also, China, their president, is going to be meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, and they could be siding with each other. We kind of know that maybe they're allies, but China has always kind of remained neutral. Also, previously, China has pushed for peace and Russia turned it down. This kind of shows that, um, a lot of people say that, oh, you know, everybody should push for peace. But the reality of it is that peace can't really happen right now. Russia wants to take over Ukraine, and their terms for peace right now, because Russia has said it, is that they will not accept peace unless they can take over the land that they have annexed with these illegal voting votes that they have said were legal, but the United Nations voted on it, and like 99% of the world that voted on it and didn't abstain from voting voted that it was illegal. There was only like Russia and 4 other countries that voted on it and said that they were legal. So 99% of the world voted on it and said no, it was not a legal election. So Russia thinks that they're going to be able to keep about 20% of Ukraine, and Ukraine says, no, we're not going to give you our land. This is similar to when Russia's politicians said we could take back Alaska. It would be like Russia saying we're going to take back Alaska, and that would be our peace talks. Well, the U.S. isn't just going to give back Alaska to Russia, because remember we actually bought Alaska from Russia back in the 1800s. Okay, well if Russia demanded that, we're not just going to give Alaska back to Russia because that's their demands, just like Ukraine is not going to give part of Ukraine back to Russia just because years ago they were part of the USSR. That's why Ukraine is fighting back from this invader. Okay, so the peace talks are just not in the cards for either of them. Ukraine doesn't want to give up their land. They don't want to have millions of their people just become part of Russia. They don't want to give up their resources, the gas that could be in the ground, the taxes that Russia would then tax their people on, and those people don't want to become part of Russia. If they did, they wouldn't be fighting back. Okay? Well, now China, which has like 1.4 billion people, their president is going to meet with and going over to Russia. Yeah. And the Chinese president's trip to meet Putin could spell trouble for the US, especially if they side with each other publicly, because this just creates more enemies for the US, especially because, well, it seems like that just creates more enemies for the US and not on our side. Remember, China has 1.4 billion people. So, question here is Russia, China, and North Korea all teaming up? Yeah, Chinese President Xi has accepted an invitation to visit Moscow from March 20th to the 22nd. So, happening here pretty soon. Almost literally here coming up. For talks with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, according to the Kremlin. Yeah. The Russian government said the two leaders will sign important bilateral documents and discuss issues of further development of comprehensive partnership and strategic interaction between Russia and China. And the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson said, quote, this will be a trip for friendship and peace on the basis of no alliance, no confrontation, and no targeting of any third party. China and Russia have been promoting greater democracy in international relations. China will uphold an objective and fair position on the Ukraine crisis and play a constructive role in promoting peace talks or talks for peace, which Russia's not going to do. They've already turned down the peace talks, and Ukraine's not going to give up their land. So all this is just smoke and mirrors. In a barely veil swiped at the West, Hua argued the partnership between China and Russia is entirely different from what certain countries have been doing, including holding on to the Cold War mentality. And that the visit is absolutely a challenge to the US-led international order. He added that the visit will lead people to question China's neutrality on Ukraine. And indeed, it looks like China is taking sides. It's definitely not with the US, that's for sure. You know, it's interesting here how China wants to sell goods to the US. They want to pump in all these products to the US, which undeniably we're kind of reliant on. You know, they want to have all these, good things selling everything to the US. Meanwhile, siding with our enemies. Russia. I mean, at this point, Russia is nothing but an enemy to us. We don't buy gas from them anymore. We're helping Ukraine defending itself. And Russia is literally nothing to us in any sense of a good for anything. Okay, all major corporations from the U.S. have pretty much pulled out of Russia on their own accord, and yet China is siding with Russia. But yet, on the flip side, they want to have all the benefits of selling to the U.S. billions and billions or trillions of dollars, even maybe. You guys can let me know your thoughts here on this. But on the other hand, we need China because if we didn't have China, if a Cold War or a real war started, first of all, God help us all. But secondly, imagine the shelves being bare if there was a trade war where Congress or the president, no matter who the president would be, remember next year is an election year, said, okay, we can no longer have anything imported from China. Yeah, remember just the run on toilet paper that we had when everybody was panicking about that and maybe some other things during the pandemic, like Lysol and cleaning supplies and stuff like that. Imagine if everything imported from China could no longer happen. Yeah, so these are some scary times. So you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments and we'll see. But North Korea says there's 800,000 of them that have signed up to wage war against us. Most Americans aren't even don't even know about this. Like, what is going on here? Is this something that's going to happen? So I'll keep you up to date here because this is in the news and this is what they're saying to their people. So, yeah. Make sure to click the subscribe button down below and then the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos because I'll let you know what's going on here. New videos come out here every day. And here's some videos you should watch next. In fact, here's a video of how long North Korea says it would take for a missile from them to land here on us with data. It's pretty crazy. Or here's some important information for Social Security and Medicare. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.